Hey all of you thrift store shoppers out there, all you guys looking for a great deal on a video game. I did a video on the original Xbox about a month ago where I broke down the system, what you needed for it, and what you should check out when you're looking at buying the system at a garage sale or at a thrift store when you're trying to get a good price on it. Now today I'm going to break down some of the most expensive original Xbox games that you'll want to look for again at garage sales, at thrift stores, at pawn shops. These are some expensive games that either A, you could add to your collection because they're all great games, or B, you could flip them on eBay and make some bucks that way. Number 1, Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I don't mean that crappy edition that EA made, I mean the original LucasArts one. This game is beloved by so many fans like myself, and because of that, it has made it become one of the more pricey original Xbox games, and one that I've actually found at thrift stores 3 different times. So it is one that's definitely attainable. It's just you gotta have your eye out looking for it, and it's one that you should definitely take the time to play. It's a great multiplayer game. Next up, Stubbs the Zombie. This is a cool game where you can actually like eat other humans and police officers and basically turn them into zombies. The game did not sell very well when it came out, and because of that it's quite rare, but it's also a really fun game to play. From what I've heard, it's got a lot of critical acclaim, and it is built on the Halo engine, which is kind of mind-boggling to me because it's not a first-person shooter. It doesn't even use a first-person perspective, but it's built on that engine. Another one is Conker Live and Reloaded, which was a remastered edition of the original Conker game that came out on the Nintendo 64. Obviously, this game has now came out as an Xbox One backwards compatible title, which means you can actually purchase it on the Xbox One game store, I think for like $10. So if you want to just play this game, there's no point of spending this much money on the original Xbox disc, unless of course you don't own an Xbox One. But it's still a very rare game for the console. Another one is Psychonauts, which is another platformer that did not sell very well, but did get some critical acclaim, kind of in the same way Beyond Good and Evil did, though Beyond Good and Evil is not nearly as rare. And then how about Outrun 2006, Sega's arcade racer? This game came out towards the end of the original Xbox's lifespan, and whenever a great game comes out towards the end of a console's lifespan, it's just asking to become a rare game in a few years. This is something I'd actually watch for on the 360 right now, as the 360 continues to dwindle down. If any actually good games come out towards the end of its life cycle, definitely pick those up, and if you're a real collector, keep them in the shrink wrap, because these are the type of games that end up being worth some bucks later on. The Futurama video game, this surprised me that it even exists. I had no idea that Futurama had a video game, and it's actually done in a similar art style to what I saw in the Simpsons game that came out on the PlayStation 2 and I think the Xbox 360. It's got kind of a cartoonish feel to it. It's got a lot of nicely animated cutscenes, or what at least were nicely animated cutscenes at the time, that reflect similarly to the Futurama show. So if you're a fan of Futurama, this is a great pickup. Also because I heard that it has like a whole episode worth of content in it in terms of video content that was never released in actual episodes. Now I haven't watched the Futurama show that much myself, so I don't know if this game ties into the canon at all, but it is, what I've heard, one of the more rare original Xbox games. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. If you've been around the gaming community back in this era of the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, you've probably heard of this game like I have, but you've never actually seen it in person. This is one of those very rare and quite well-known rare games, and it's one that would be probably pretty difficult to pick up on the cheap, just because I think that so many people are aware of the fact that this is a rare game. Basically, you have a sort of, if you've ever played Thrillville on the PlayStation 2, that's the easiest thing for me to compare it to. Basically, you create your own Jurassic Park amusement park, and you can, lay the dinosaurs wherever you want and lay all the different things wherever you want and just run this massive amusement park in a sort of simulator fashion. I guess that would also make it be very similar to any of the Tycoon games, if you've ever played those either. Fatal Frame 1 and 2, which are both horror games that I've never played because I don't play any horror games. But regardless, both of these are very expensive, and from what I know, they are printed in quite limited quantities. And lastly, the most expensive on the list. Whenever you mix in peripherals, it can get really expensive or really cheap, really fast. Think like Band Hero. That game has like no value anymore. But on the original Xbox, there was an amazing, way ahead of its time game that had a peripheral that is now super expensive, and that is Steel Battalion. This game can go for up to $400 if it's in the box. And honestly, the people who are collecting for this want it in the box. Now, people will buy it used, but this is one pricey game. You got a whole battle rig, and you're like controlling this mechanized robot. And obviously, I've never actually played this game, but I've seen people play it, and it looks absolutely insane. So thank you guys for watching. These were my most expensive original Xbox games that you should watch out for at garage sales and at thrift stores. And from what I've found, some thrift stores, literally like mine in town, every single original Xbox game that comes through the door, they price it $3. They don't even check how much it's worth. So they might have, Madden 2004 that's worth pennies for $3. And then they might have, Dino Crisis or something for $3. That's the kind of stuff you guys got to watch out for, and hopefully land yourself a good deal. Let me know down in the comments below what the best deal you got on an original Xbox game ever was. I look forward to reading some of those. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.